Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Tony Stark Iron Man issue 3. And this was another enjoyable issue. I really liked how they delved into the escape and also got us to see what's going on with Machine Man and Yocasta and what Tony thinks is the problem with himself. So, one of the real big parts that I really liked was the whole beta test terms of service thing that was being done for our point of view character that we have in the present portion dealing with the escape. How Tony's explaining it all and everything, and I'm like, yeah, I would have accepted this stuff as well. I mean, one, it's Tony Stark, and it's just presented in a fun kind of way, and it's, for this beta test, these users are being introduced to the world, and their challenge is to find any humans and differentiate them from NPCs. And if they can do that, they'll get a prize. And if they find Tony, they'll get even an extra reward. But the whole conceit is everybody in there is pretty much Iron Man as the beta testers are flying around. I'm like, I would definitely accept this. I'm like, that'd just be so much fun. So we then go to yesterday as Tony is talking with his kind of core group of his company, and that escape is to be kind of like a better version of the real world. You know, crisper, clear, all that kind of stuff. And we see that, like, all of them are like, yeah, we're game for this and everything, and that they have to go on the program and everything. Andy asks Amanda to autograph one of the albums that he's got, and she does that and then asks him to jam with her in the escape, and he's like, hell yeah! So that was a kind of cool little thing going on. And Rhodey's asking if there's any kind of military applications. Tony says, heck no. So Rhodey says that he's out, that he even knows kind of what Tony's real goal is behind this. Yocasta asks to join, but before they really get into it, Machine Man pops up and goes spouting off about, like, how this is like an attack on cyber people and everything. Well, robot culture, cyber people come in later in the issue. And Tony's like, yeah, we met. Your name's kind of redundant, though. And then he fires back about it being stupid that he's called Iron Man when his suit has no iron in it, really. And then going about how his armor appropriates robot culture. And Tony's like, no, armor predates robots. And I'm like, yeah. And Yocasta's like, he's gotten a little bit militant. And Machine Man is like, really into organics versus synthetics in this issue. I'm like, holy crap, man. You need to, like, tone it down. I understand the implications that can be used for escape. It's like, holy shit. So he was a pretty effective kind of force in this issue. So we kind of get back into it, and we see our POV person kind of getting through. We see one of the other beta testers try and tag someone out, but it's an NPC, and we see that it's a 3 strikes and you're out kind of rule, so you got to be pretty careful. And I liked how it was kind of gamified. I'm thinking, yeah, this would work very well. So our POV character's like flying around, finds Amanda and Andy, and like, oh god, they're singing and everything's so terrible, they have to be human. Blasts them, and Andy's like apologizing for being pretty bad, but it was a cool little moment between him and Amanda. And let's see. Oh, then we see the POV character going to the Wild West kind of world, kind of Westworld, and I liked all the different kind of stuff that you could see in it, because in one corner you could see one character that looks like Yul Brynner, and he was in the original Westworld movie. I'm like, yeah. And anyway, if you got a Wild West theme going on, you kind of need Yul Brynner since he was a big part of Westworld, and also the Magnificent Seven. I'm like, cool. So you see our POV person kind of trying to gather information around the town, same as any other beta testers and everything. But while they're in the process of that, unauthorized breach occurs. And we see that Machine Man has come in and saying that, like, cyberspace is for cyber people and everything like that. And let's see here. we find out that he got into this beta test because this robot in this robot bar pretty much gave him the beta code and everything, thinking that it's a robot usually working around that was made by Stark and just left to be obsolete. Of course, we find out that it is Bethany Cave and that she's under the control and using it to throw off the scent. And that's a pretty effective thing. You've got someone who really doesn't want this thing to work out, and then you just kind of turn them loose as they start shooting out and like taking people out of the cyberspace. Motherboard then informs the beta tester that a kind of last resistance is going on and in the Mystic Realm. So we get that our POV person is the last beta tester. We see that someone's acting like the Sorcerer Supreme in the cyberspace and doing the code and everything like that. And of course it's Tony. And it completely fits within his realm to do that, be the Sorcerer Supreme, also see how he is friends with Stephen Strange, how it is heavily alluded to that Tony will become a Sorcerer Supreme in either this future or other various futures, and it just worked pretty well. We see the beta tester talking with him, and he's like, yeah, you're Tony Stark. What gave it away? The ego. And he's like, fine, just don't tag me, please, because I'm probably the only one that can do this. I mean, you're the last beta tester alive anyway, so you win, and just the extra bits, just let us do this. But we get into a pretty precarious situation because Machine Man is able to grab a hold. He's like, hey, this is a two-way street, and tries to gain information from Stark by going directly into his mind. It's like, ooh, shit, that's not good, especially with all the upgrades that Tony has done to himself, being essentially more of a cyber... He's not a cyborg, but he is definitely more of a fusion of technology and organic than a normal person would be. So the beta tester has to figure out what to do, and she's trying to figure out if she can shoot either one of them, but she figures out, you know what, if I take myself out, it'll end. She does it, and everybody gets into what's going on with it, because Machine Man has been all about kind of like controlling Yokasta, and she wants her free will and everything. And he figures that all of their avatars and everything go away. We see Yokasta, we see Tony, we see Machine Man, and they're kind of talking in their apartment later. Yokasta's like, well, I'm leaving, and Tony's not pressing charges. He actually kind of thanks you for ironing out the bugs. And Machine Man brought up that, I thought that you were actually human in there. And she's like, no, kind of passed the Turing test with you. That's kind of a thing. So we see that Cave has pinned the security breaches on Machine Man using Yokasta's security credentials to do everything and mess with everything. So that's a pretty effective plan, and Tony's really going to have to figure out what's going on with the controller sooner or later. That part is then finished up, and he goes to talk with Yokasta, and we find out the real reason why he was using the escape. He wanted to see if humans and AI can act as equals, and he says between us and them, and Yokasta's like, how do you say us? And he goes into how he had to delete his brain and then re-upload it, and then he essentially had to do the same thing with his body, wondering if he's actually the real him, and if he's got a soul. And I didn't know if I didn't expect it to take that route, but I really like that route. What is the price of all the things that Tony has done to keep himself alive and to advance science and the armor and himself? Is he still him, and does he still have his soul? I like that he thinks about that, and that's a big thing that's happened in this issue. And Yokasta's like, I don't know, but I know I have a soul. If that helps. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty kind of cool. I like the ruminations and the thinking of going on with this, of what has a soul, what does sentience mean, free will versus control, and everything like that. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty cool stuff. So we end out the issue, and Yokasta decides to essentially go inside of a locker, put on the escape gear, asks Motherboard to run this certain program, and just acts human. Like, with a human appearance and everything, and just goes to sleep there. Like, wow, that's pretty kind of cool. So, I really enjoyed this issue, and want to see kind of where it goes from here. I like what they kind of set up with Yokosuka and Machine Man, and that's an interesting relationship that we'll have to see develop throughout. Tony's problem of wondering if he's got a soul and if he's really him. I hope that that kind of continues forward and what kind of fallout we see from there, as well as what the controller's next kind of steps are going to be. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.